Hello everyone and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Talking the PS, your weekly PlayStation show where we round up all of the gaming and PlayStation news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/Helix Plays Games and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast preference of choice. You're joining myself once again upon my return as I'm joined by the man of many pixels holding down the fort, Mr. Richie.
Hello.
And below him, I'm going to say return, but it's not the return. You guys have been here. I've been the one.
Yeah, you're the one who's returning.
I'm the one returning. Of course, our chaotic neutral Rob. Welcome back.
Thank you. I love the energy you bring in.
It's the last percentage of my energy. I'm depleted on all things. Of course, yes, boys and girls. I've been away. I've given birth. I've been there. My firstborn child has arrived. She's healthy. Mammy's healthy. Thank you for all your kind messages out there across all social platforms in our Discord group. Yes, I am coping. I'm into some routine. I know most of our audience have children themselves, so they know exactly what I'm going through, and they're on this journey with me together. But yes, I was saying pre-show, my journey this morning so far was I went to go to bed about midnight last night, didn't get settled until 1 because, like babies do, we had an accident right as she was about to go down for bed. And then, yeah, she was up at like 5:45 this morning, and then I've just not slept since. So, minimal.
I know exactly how you feel, Chris. Like, I only had like 7.5 hours of sleep last night. And, you feel it, really, you do.
I think I went to bed about 2:30 and didn't get up to about 10:30.
Yeah, so we're all on the same boat, really, I think.
Yeah. Well, the joke's on YouTube because our audience are on my side with this, so they can get you in the comments below. That's a life that I've had to leave behind now. That it's just gone. There is no turning back. I've done that thing where, you know, when you make a save point in a video game and you can't go back because you've overwritten the previous save file, there is no chapter or checkpoint for me to go back to now. I was like, this is my life now, and whether I get progressively more tired as the episodes go on or the weeks go on, no doubt. But yes, I've mustered as much energy. I'm excited to be back. I was saying to Richie on the live stream this week, I've not really been away as fully as I intended to because I've been helping out with thumbnails. I've been building the doc for the show. I did a Luna live stream and an unboxing and a Chaya first look, because I just had some downtime. I needed to do something that wasn't just sitting in the house watching TV, basically. So put my creative juices to the best of my abilities, and I'm thankful to everyone who checked it out. But yes, I'm back. We're back to round up all the PlayStation news, and that's what we do here. Before we get into it, although, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here at Helix Plays Games, like our weekly live streams. As I mentioned, myself and Richie jumped in to the mighty Game of the Year award-winning From Software's Elden Ring this past week, and we played about 2 hours. We enjoyed it. We played it over on the Xbox. Richie, you actually went back, if I recall.
I did.
You maniac.
There's a members only video up because we got to the first boss and we only really had, 1 or 2 runs at it on the live stream.
Big
and
Maggie,
we pretty much at a call time on this. It's like, but I felt I did quite well. Like I got it down to about half health kind of thing. It's like, you know, when you have that feeling when after turn off the camera, it's like, I could do that. That's achievable. So the next day I got up and was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I actually started a new character,
right,
and just got up to the first boss. Spent a bit more time leveling up and exploring the world more than we did on the stream, and then I just started recording. I pretty much as I was walking into my first attempt.
Wow, well done. So that's available for members on the channel right now.
It is.
So Helix Heroes, if you're out there, click join down below in the video. You can watch that video right now and watch Richie kick Maggie's ass as he goes back in for vengeance. And shout out to all of our Helix Heroes as well. Richie, does this give you the energy? Does this spur you on to maybe go and reattempt Zhang Liang on Wolong? You know, the big boss me and Rob both took down, but in my absence, he's still... It's been 4 weeks, dude, since I did it.
Yeah, but I've beat the boss in Elden Ring, so...
I've had a child, so...
But the thing is with Wolong is I don't know why I play Wolong when I have Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring is the better game.
Not denying that, but as
if I was interested in that crushing difficulty, I'd just play more Elden Ring.
Fair enough.
Chris, I love how you know exactly when you defeat that boss based on the fact that it was like a few hours before your child was born.
It was literally, I think, midnight. We went to sleep. 2 hours later, so like 2 in the morning, I defeated Zhang Liang. I posted about it on Twitter. 2 hours later, my wife went into labour. 2 hours after that, my daughter was born. It was literally like 2 hour slots that day. So yes, it was chaotic. So yeah, if I could do it sleep deprived, folded up on a terrible NHS-sized couch in the middle of the night, then I feel like you can do it, Richie. I'm just saying, like. And
it's more that I don't want to.
But I think that the chat and the audience and the viewers want you to do it. Or at least do a stream where you suffer for another 2 hours. Because I got a sick kick out of sitting in the hospital and watching Rob breeze through it, by the way. And then, just even though I couldn't even see your screen, just you every 5 minutes in the corner going, fuck, shit, damn it, doing it again. It satisfied me in some way.
My personal favourites were like, he's down to like half health. And then he'd be like, Rob, there's no prompt. There's no prompt to like for like.
Yeah, Rob promised me. Oh, but when he gets down to about half health, there's a prompt. It's like, and then that's it. Like,
on the second,
I was personally to blame for the prompt not happening.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly.
Argument. So you get all the laughs here on the channel. So aside from Maggie on Elden Ring, have you been playing anything else?
Just chipping away at Octopath.
Chipping away at Octopath on your Switch, right?
Yes.
Switch. And in my stead, you've also wrapped up on Hogwarts Legacy?
I have.
Got a platinum?
I have.
How many hours?
I don't know. I think it was around about 65, 70 hours, somewhere in that range.
Yes. The benefit of getting up at early hours, I got my earliest ever platinum at 8:32 a.m. this morning playing Hogwarts Legacy. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed it. I think about 60 hours in total. Bit of a pain at the end, as you said, as we discussed off camera, doing the little collectible bits. I was down to I needed 2, and I had no idea where in the world they were. Turned out it was butterflies. It was butterflies that I'd missed out there in the wild, and chests that butterflies hide. Apparently, that's a thing. But yeah, got it. They're playing through the 4 different houses to complete to like a certain stage. It was a bit irritating, like back to back to back.
Especially when there isn't enough difference between the playthroughs.
I enjoyed the variations because obviously you're seeing different common rooms and the different characters. So how they kind of wove them back into the one story was, I guess, it wasn't as lazy as they could have been with it. So, but at the same time, you didn't need to make me do it. And how about you, Rob? How's your Hogwarts Legacy adventure going? I know the girlfriend's taken up most of the time with that game, but how are we enjoying it?
I think I'm still enjoying it when I play it, but it's. My attention's been taken elsewhere. My girlfriend made me do a mission yesterday because she wanted to see my reaction to it, and it was the one like you own a shop.
Oh
yeah, okay, yeah.
Like the 15-year-old somehow comes to acquire a shop. I don't know.
There's a lot of stuff in that game that's questionable, like murder and stuff, and
yeah,
it's cool.
It's fine. Shop ownership is not.
Let's not report them to the teachers or the headmaster. Like, where is the security on the school grounds? Like, seriously, aside from just a few protection
Harry
spells.
Potter films?
Yeah, but there's one police officer in the village, and that's it.
That's immediately wiped out as soon as there's any conflict.
Everyone has magical powers and ability to go invisible and set fire to things, and yet one officer just looks after the whole area.
It feels like there should be more security. No safeguarding officers.
So was it Resident Evil that pulled your attention away then, and now you're just onto other things?
Yeah. I think with Hogwarts, I'm noticing the shallowness of the mechanics more and more now because I'm really dipping into it. I'm not getting fully absorbed into the world anymore like I was when I first played it. I'm noticing more and more stuff, and I'm like. There's better things for me to play out there, I think. But stuff like kind of the colour matching shields feels a bit kind of
gaming 101.
Yeah. And again, this is nothing to detract from the achievement of what they've done with the world, because the world itself is perfect. You can't ask for any more. But I am noticing
apart from not enough police officers.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah,
so I am noticing that a bit more.
Yeah, the world's absolutely stunning, and we can stop talking about it now. I think we'll probably move on beyond this now. Myself and Richie are no longer playing it, and new things are coming out, which we're going to talk about in all the news. So are you just on the Resident Evil train still, or have you got something else?
Yeah, I'm so close to the rolling credits on the remake. The issue was that the Mercenaries DLC dropped a few days ago.
It did.
And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to play this for 6 hours straight. So I've been doing a lot of run-throughs with Hunk, who was the kind of secret, kind of mysterious OP guy who just like he's actually OP in Mercenaries as well, because like he just has like he can one hit like anything basically, so that's quite a lot of fun.
So for those who don't know, what is the Mercenaries DLC? Because we had Mercenaries in Village last year, and it was just kind of waves of enemies come at you in first person.
That's essentially what it is.
The same?
It's essentially a hard mode, but you get to play with like obviously a much wider array of characters.
Is it in third really person fun. Still?
Oh yeah,
like
it's all kind of
okay.
It's literally the same mechanic, but just with a hard feature. It's like Richie, do you know when we played through and there was the village level where kind of everyone kind of launches themselves at you? It's basically that non-stop. So
and it was this not in the original?
It was like an add-on in the original, like in the same way, like kind of it's like a separate game,
like an arcade mode kind of thing.
Essentially, yeah. The weird thing was it's pegged as DLC, and it says like, oh, this is downloadable content. The file itself to download it was like a couple of meg, so it must be baked into the game and just like released separately. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, really enjoying it so far. And again, I'd say it surpasses number 2 in terms of quality of remake. Now I know like number 2 built the foundation, so it's maybe unfair to say that, but they've just done such a good job of it, and I can't commend it enough.
Yeah, I've got a small pocket window where I'm thinking, do I start? I've currently got the Amazon Luna Plus subscription for like a month, and I've got a gap window now between, I think it's like 2 weeks until Horizon Burning Shores DLC is out, and then it's another week until Jedi Survivor is out. So I've got this 2 week pocket window where I'm thinking, like, what do? I want to play some more Luna to check it out for our new up and coming podcast, The Luna Listening. You should check it out. But it's like, do I try and commit to a brand new thing? Because I do want to play RE2 and 3 and then eventually 4. But part of me is holding out for an RE1 remake, and part of me is thinking, like, I just get on and get it done with, and then you can build maybe towards, like, by Halloween I'll be up to number 4. But
yeah,
I
will
time.
say that number 1 and 2, like, you're not missing much. Like, if you just understand the concept that there's like a Umbrella is made of iris, like that's enough to kind of get by on number 2.
Okay. That's good to know. So we might check it out on stream at some point. I do want to get a few more Amazon Luna streams in at some point, but again, we'll figure that out as the weeks go by. But you need to click subscribe so you're kept in the loop with that content when it does drop. And as I mentioned there, we did announce on last week's show, but I haven't said it out loud officially. But yeah, Luna Listening, our new Amazon Luna podcast, coming to the channel in the coming weeks possibly. We're just ironing out some things. We did drop the video, but we've had some copyright issues with the audio, and we're trying to iron out some creases in terms of content. It's cadence and when it comes to the channel. So again, keep it locked. Our members will get a heads up early as well, so we'll get into that. But this is Talking the PS. It is your weekly PlayStation show. And gentlemen, we have a great show lined up full of jam-packed news. We're talking about handhelds, EA Sports FC, beta tests for Ubisoft games, and a DualSense controller that may set on fire or turn ice cold. But before we get into all that, the news is brought to us by your fantastic support Helix Heroes out there, the wonderful people who support us a little bit extra from as little as 99p. In fact, you can support us, get early access to this very show, badges and stickers next to your name, and content like Richie taking on Maggie in Elden Ring. To be clear, name's not really Maggie, it's like Margit the Destroyer or something like that, but we condense it down to Maggie.
Margaret the Fell Omen.
The Fell Omen. We prefer Maggie. But Richie, if you could do us the honours and introduce us to the...
I mean, it's usually Rob.
Is it?
The properly prepared PlayStation perusing points.
Is it usually Rob?
It isn't, yeah. No, because I hate doing the X one.
I
guess I'll take it.
In a month's absence, I've defaulted to the 160 Stadia episodes when Richie did it, and my brain just looped back to Richie introduces us to the... Okay, but no, I'll like Rob to do it, Richie. You can defeat Zhang Lang and Wolong, so you don't get that benefit yet.
Yeah. Do you want to team me up again?
Yeah, okay. So, introducing us to the
properly prepared PlayStation perusing points, aka the news.
The news.
It's good to be back. And the news is a great episode to return to, quite frankly, because we've got confirmation that PlayStation are working on a handheld peripheral, possibly the spiritual successor to the PlayStation Portable, possibly the successor to the PlayStation Vita. Vita means life, after all. Reading from The Verge, a new report from Insider Gaming. Ironically, the report starts with citing a separate article from a separate... That's all news is nowadays, just copy and paste
that's
from other
journalism,
people.
isn't it?
Exactly. They claim Sony is developing a new PlayStation gaming handheld. It won't be necessarily a successor to those aforementioned handheld consoles. It's going to be something a little bit different. Rather than being a portable console, it's going to be project titled the Q Lite. It's designed to primarily work with remote play using PlayStation 5 to stream games from the console via the internet. Whilst remote play can be used outside the home, they specifically note the handheld is not meant for cloud gaming, so it sounds like there's a separate peripheral in line for that one. In terms of hardware, the Q Lite will reportedly come equipped with an 8-inch LCD touchscreen designed for 60 frames per second gaming at 1080p, adaptive triggers similar to those found on the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, and then they go on to talk about the release schedule of, we know there is a portable detachable disc drive in the works for the PS5 and possibly a slimmer PS5 Pro refresh at the back end of 2023 into 2024. This handheld device reportedly is not going to come until after those pieces of hardware have been delivered. But I do want to hand it over to you guys to ask, is this, or could this be the successor we've always been waiting for the PlayStation Vita? I love my Vita. I love my PSP back in the day. I still do. And I've been shouting from the rooftops that instead of investing in VR, because that's just not hitting it for them, this is where the research development should have went. So, Rob, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Is this the shining light that we want for a second kind of pillar of Sony's PlayStation world, or is this just dead in the water already because it just seems like it's a half-assed remote play device as opposed to a dedicated handheld?
I guess for me, it comes down to the price. Like, I feel like this is the issue they had with PSVR 2. They just completely priced it wrong, and because it's a kind of additional kind of bit of kit as opposed to its standalone product, it very much seems like it needs the PlayStation 5 to kind of work. I think it all comes down to the price. I can see how useful it will be, and I think I would enjoy having it to kind of, as someone who doesn't have like a TV in the bedroom or like whatever, like I can see the benefit of using it around the house and stuff like that, but I just hope they don't kill it with too excessive pricing is my take on it.
There is something to be said about the pricing. The description of it you can almost see where they would have cut corners. So if it is just going to be a remote play device, there's almost going to be virtually no internal software. It doesn't need like masses of internal memory. It doesn't need massive elements of processing power, because all it is doing is essentially casting whatever your PlayStation 5 is doing to a second screen, which, like, again, for clarity, you can do on your mobile or your tablet right now with remote play. It works pretty well. Richie, you actually often use remote play to another console, right? So not quite the same, but by proxy, it kind of is the same.
I don't use it as much nowadays. Now I've got my PS5 up here and my PS4 downstairs. But when it was the other way around, I used to actually, if I was gaming in here on PlayStation, I used to use my PS4 to remote into my PS5. So remote play, it's good. I like remote play. My issue with this is I don't want a dedicated remote play device. It feels like half-baked as a concept, to be honest. Like, if you're having a device that can run remote play, why not put the cloud gaming stuff on there as well and make this a dedicated PlayStation Plus device? To be honest, I'd go as far as say, if I was Sony, I'd be targeting a handheld that can basically play natively PS4 games up to 1080p, 60 frames per second, and then you use remote play to get the PS5 games running that on it. And you use it to bridge the gap, rather than make it the key focus.
That's almost it, isn't it? There's like a three-pronged approach you could have got. You've got, I guess, to go off the PlayStation Plus listings, you've got the Essential, which would just be this, which is the bare bones. It just streams remote play to a handheld device. It's got a 8-inch screen, which is the same as the Switch, right? Give or take a couple point something of an inch. The same as the Switch. And then you've got, I guess, a form factor that would resemble a Switch or a PlayStation Vita or a Razer Kishi or something. That's your Essential. Then you've got Extra, which is going to be the version that you've mentioned there, Richie, which could include cloud gaming and the remote play. So it's kind of a 2 for bonus that you could take it away and not have to worry about your PS5 being turned on at home. It would just use PlayStation's cloud gaming, which we've criticised enough on the show because it needs an absolute revamp, and this could be a perfect time to revamp it in line with this extra tier. But then what you've described there, for me, the premium version of this device would be a dedicated handheld console that does PS4 games, all the old back catalogue that we've got as part of the tiers on PlayStation Plus. Some cracking internal hardware. Like, let's face it, the Switch is old, we know that. It doesn't do that well. But the Steam Deck's out there, shitting all over PC games and just running them as best they can on a portable piece of hardware. So it's not like it's impossible. I just look at Sony now and their current position, even though they're market leader, as Rob said, the state of the world and the money and stuff going around, I don't think they would stretch themselves this thin where they would need dev teams to work on games, hardware teams to work on building shit, and just like Rob said, the price. I just think a premium, the world isn't there built right now in its current state for this premium device, which it sucks to say, but I think Sony have looked at that and went, you know what, the lowest common denominator is this Q Lite project, which is just, it does remote play, it's got a screen we can probably pull from our mobile division, we've got the buttons lying in a warehouse, let's just whack it all together and use it as a PS5 add-on.
Like, does this make more sense to imagine it as a PlayStation 5 controller with a screen?
In essence, yeah, that's what it's the Dreamcast controller all over again.
Yeah, because that's the benefit for me, like the control of like the DualSense, like, because even if you're using like a Razer Keyshaw, like, it's nowhere near the quality of like a PlayStation 5 controller. So that's the selling point for me, as opposed to the actual portability of it, which effectively isn't particularly portable because it's like however many, But yeah,
I'm still. I don't know. I can't see the price. If you're thinking of this as just a portable controller with a screen, and it's sub £100, then it's like fair enough. I really can't see it being under £100.
Oh, absolutely not. If you think the Razer,
DualSense is how much?
The DualSense is like £60. The backbone and the Razer Keyshaw about £99 to £100, and that's just the controller element. So the screen alone is going to add another. You've got to imagine £80 to £100 on. It's not OLED, which again they did it with the Vita, where the first one was LCD, then it went OLED. So I feel like if they did a second iteration, that would be like the top tier one. But you've got to imagine if companies like Logitech are looking at the G Cloud is what, like 300 quid. You've got the Razer Edge, which is just essentially this device. It's the Razer Keyshaw whacked onto an 8-inch tablet screen with some Android elements to it. That's about 50 quid. So the ballpark for these type of devices is quite a premium. It's not going to sit at the 150, 200 pound.
You chuck the DualSense stuff on and the Sony branding, it's probably going to be in that like 300, 400 price point. And I just look at it and goes, for a device that literally just does remote play, I just think that is just not. It'll sell some, but I think it'll be closer in sales to, for example, the PSVR 2 in terms of like uptake.
Yeah, I do.
Where if it was a fully fleshed out, like as I mentioned, like this can just play PS4 games natively, and you can use remote play to bridge the gap so you can play your PS5 games on the move. Then at like a free £400 price point, suddenly going, okay, now you've got my attention.
And this is where the handheld market, I feel like the dust needs to settle on it. The Switches came in and absolutely smashed out of the park, however many millions of units sold. But now we've got the cloud element coming into it as well. And then the Steam Deck has obviously added a whole different tier. The Steam Deck starts at about, what, 400 quid? 399 is it for the base model, which no one's really going to get. They're all going to go for the higher one. So 450. And yet Logitech are asking for this like cloud gaming only device for 50 quid less, which is just get yourself a Steam Deck if you're in that market. That's just stupid if you're buying the Logitech one. I feel like when the dust settles, if this PlayStation device could come in at like maybe 250, 249, that would be the sweet spot. But as you said, you get dangerously close to PSVR 2 problems when you start pricing it at close to the console cost, when you're not getting all the power that comes in the box. You're just getting a screen and a Wi-Fi card, essentially, because cloud gaming's reportedly not even in this, which is astonishing.
Why would you have remote play and not cloud gaming? I don't get
it's
that.
just software at that point, right? You've got the Wi-Fi card, you've got the screen.
That's
It's
the thing.
just the shitty software that cloud gaming on PlayStation currently is, which goes back to like the three of us. When we launched this show, we checked out cloud gaming, and I don't feel like any of us do it via PlayStation because the interface is so bad. The selection of games isn't PS5 as it stands. You can't buy them through it. The shopfront's non-existent. It just needs a whole revamp, and I'm still waiting for Sony to actually play catch-up at all with Xbox. But then more importantly, ironically, the dead Google Stadia and Amazon Luna are doing it better, and yet this is PlayStation. This is the current game winner.
I kind of think that PlayStation, well, at first when they kind of shoveled in PS Now to PlayStation Plus, I thought, okay, maybe they're going to do something with this. I think it's actually going the other way. I think it may have been put in there to die. Just, we'll put in the premium tier and everyone can forget about it kind of thing, and then it'll almost like, they still got like a toe in the water, but they're kind of just waiting to walk off and just close down the cloud gaming thing probably quietly. But with cloud gaming seemingly in the future, it's like, well, we can't. And that might be part of why they're pushing remote play quite hard at the moment. It's like, well, the remote play is going to be our answer to cloud gaming.
But then you have to think, what happens when, obviously, like, PlayStation released this, let's say it's like, I don't know, like 300 for the sake of arguments. And then kind of Microsoft turn around and say, okay, look at this thing, which is a similar price, and it's all powered by cloud gaming, because they actually have like the solid game, like the solid kind of cloud infrastructure for it. Like, that seems like such an easy win for Microsoft.
But the thing with this is, £300 for this, I think you're better off paying the extra 50 quid and get the base level Steam Deck, because then you can just use remote play on your Steam Deck.
Is the assumption
you
that
have to?
I was going to say you have to like fudge it a little bit, don't you, to get that? I think it runs well,
so.
but I don't think it's not officially supported. Is it?
I don't know if it's officially supported, but I know you can get Windows on Steam Deck, and there is a Windows Remote Play app. I don't think it wouldn't be outrageous to achieve.
Yeah, because I know everybody.
And then you got all the other functionality of a Steam Deck.
Yeah, because I know everybody who's been playing like God of War and Spider-Man, that's purchased through Steam, right? They've not.
Yeah, and then you've got
playing natively, just ran on the device.
And they're pushing more and more PC games to Steam anyway. So for that sort of price, if it's coming close to the price of the Steam Deck, it's got to be a better, more enticing offering than the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And if it is largely just a remote play device, to me, that's not it.
It's crazy just to think, though. I think when I was 16. I think for my 16th birthday, I got my PSP, and it was probably $199 from like Argos or something. My parents will have got me it. And like the way technology is now, like you wouldn't get anything near like that level of like built-in hardware software for less than like sub £200 now, $200 at all.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's a sad state of affairs really that everything costs so much. But then if you look at an iPhone and top Samsung phones, you're looking at $1,000+ for them. So is it crazy that we expect that much power to come in a handheld device for less than 200 when they're using the same chipsets that your mobile phone does, then they're using the same batteries, the same quality screen, speakers. The just difference is it's got analog sticks and buttons on the side. Like that's the only key difference in cellular stuff.
It won't use the same chipsets as a phone because, yes, phones can game, but they're not really set up to game in the way of like a PS5 or...
So then it should be more expensive, right? But we're talking around 300, 500 quid, whereas an iPhone Pro Max is like $1,000 and 1,200 or something. Yeah. But
I guess it's the age-old thing where it's like people underestimate the cost of gaming or like the value you get from it. Like you both of you just said like you played 60, 70 hours of Hogwarts or something to get the platinum. That's essentially like boils down to like £1 per minute of entertainment. Like gaming as a hobby, like obviously games are expensive, but for the kind of tech around them is for what you get out of them, they are undervalued, I think. And I think the same happens like with consoles and like kind of stuff like this. Like, especially when compared against phones and TVs and stuff.
Absolutely. But to kind of bring it back around, though, I'm glad that they're looking at this type of device, that they've not just wrote it off completely. Like, I'm such a big fan of, like, PlayStation hardware. I've always had the consoles, like, the handhelds as well. Like, even the fact that they're dipping the toe back into a handheld world, like, the official PlayStation-branded backbone looks great. My Razer Kishi does a good enough job for me at the moment, so I'm not in the market for it. But this device is something that would be right up my street. I do like doing stuff on, like, a bit more portable. I think, Richie, you've explicitly said that you play your Switch like 95% of the time portable. Yeah. Even though you can dock it, there is a reason that you prefer to play that way, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the form factor of the Switch. I've never really got away with using the Kishi on my phone. I found the screen on the phone was just that little bit too small to be comfortable, so then you're having to have it close at your face, and then that was not... I could never really get comfortable with the Kishi on my phone, and now I've actually got a slightly smaller phone as well, because I had the Pixel 4 XL, so I had quite a large phone and still felt that screen was too small. So I never really got away from Kishi, where the Switch, I think, it's kind of got that nice... It's got a nice kind of balance between the size of the screen, the weight of it. Although, that being said, my Switch is actually currently docked because I've been playing it here. So...
But in terms of form factor, yeah, you're completely right. Right, an average smartphone now is like 6.5 inch to 6.7 if you're going for the bigger ones, and even that is still quite a bit short of the Nintendo Switch or this reported device. But at the same time, when you're casting or you're streaming, you usually get the kind of black bars down the side, which puts it into like some awkward like movie mode. But
it never bothers me, to be honest, because you switch it out like.
I'm just thinking you're losing screen real estate because it's not designed specifically for that. Whereas this device, you'd imagine, would alleviate that because it's built with remote play in mind. It's a dedicated piece of hardware that pairs it with the PS5, and you can use it. The biggest thing for me is if remote play can get to a quality that we've seen in cloud gaming. So if I go to a hotel and I connect to 4G or 5G via a hotspot, and my PS5 beep turns on at home. If I can get like a similar version of cloud gaming running, that might just fix all the problems. And everyone bemoaning hardware and the power being not in the device, like we've been waving the flag for cloud gaming for 3+ years now, and we know it works. So maybe we are in a world where everyone just needs to think forward rather than backwards and say we don't need a massive processor, we don't need the built hardware, because all these games, they can be played.
And I'd agree, if this device had cloud gaming in it and not just remote play.
Yeah.
That's the issue, because to get remote play working well, what you effectively need is 2 good internet connections if you work out in the field. So you'd need a decent connection in your hotel and in your home.
Yeah.
And then it also means that someone else can't use your PlayStation at home. So your wife couldn't be using your PlayStation to watch a movie or something while you're sat in a hotel gaming. Where with cloud gaming, you could do that.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things where the downsides of remote play, you're effectively tying 2 devices together.
That's
true. It works very well, but it has these quality of life issues where if it had cloud gaming as well, and as we've said, we can't really see a reason why it couldn't.
Mm-hmm. But at the moment, this is obviously just a project rumoured. The Q Lite, we're not too sure. I guess the final question then is, what would you call it? If it's not necessarily dedicated handheld, does it need to mention remote play in the name? Do we just go like PS5 portable? What's the name you would go with for this? It's obviously not the Vita 2. It's not the PlayStation Portable. Although PlayStation Portable, just do a reboot. What do you think? Anything come to mind that you would think Sony would label this as?
I would have like PS Go or something. I don't know.
I was thinking PS Go. I actually thought of PS Move first.
Wasn't
that a thing already?
Yeah, that's the sticks. Don't associate with those glow sticks.
But it's like something that kind of suggests, get your PlayStation on the go, on the move, that kind of idea.
Well, we had the PSP Go as well.
And give it mobile data as well.
The little slidey out thing. I just hope they don't go down the route of what they do with their mobile phones with the Xperias, where the current flagship Xperias, like the Xperia 2
XZ
V2 or something, like
Advanced.
the Mark 12 or whatever. They're so confusing. But yeah, we'll have to wait some time. As I said, the detachable disc drive is apparently in the works first, and then we're going to see a PlayStation 5 Pro or Slimline model come out next year. So there is some time. This could be still on the drawing board, so cloud gaming could become a reality with it. I'd like to think by the time this device comes out, Sony and PlayStation have refreshed their cloud gaming offerings. Like, I'd like to see like PlayStation 5 games on it, for example. I think, Rob, that was one of your biggest bugbears, is when the premium tier launched on PlayStation Plus, is you couldn't play PS5 games on the cloud at all. It was limited to last gen. So what's the point?
Yeah, I was so annoyed. It just felt like, oh, this is the worst version of the console I have gathering dust, like, on the PlayStation 4. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So
please sort the platform out.
So back to the drawing board, PlayStation. Give us dedicated hardware. Give me them DualSense controls. Give me a big OLED screen, and let me play my games anywhere and everywhere. Moving on, though, to story number 2 of the week. EA FIFA is no more, as EA rebrand, of course, to the long incoming EA Sports FC. We've known for some time that it's on the cards. The football season here in the UK especially is wrapping up. And today, or this week I should say, we've seen our first official look at the branding for EA Sports FC. The new name, the new logo, it's been all over the place, and EA posted out a statement that went in depth a little bit on what the new chapter in the World's game looks like. I'm not going to go into it fully, because on the blog post they did this big piece about how the triangle is the shape that defines football and the game, and it's the little arrow that's above the player's head, the player indicator arrow. And there is something to be said about, in the psychology of football, playing in triangles, the tactical nature of it all. It does work really, really well. Tick-a-tack football, all that kind of jazz. But essentially it boils down to the logo is a triangle that says EA Sports FC. And they've gone out massively over this past weekend with branding. It's been on banners at Premier League games. It's been advertised. Naturally, EA know they're going to have to market this like crazy to get people away from just saying FIFA, because it's synonymous with the game, it's synonymous with the sport, and they're starting early. Every football club, I don't know if you saw, Richie, as well, was tweeting out this past weekend, like just with their club colours, with the logo like monochromed against it. Like even down to like low league ones were promoting it, so it's all over the place. First initial thoughts on the logo, Richie?
It's fine. I don't really have any strong... I don't really care too much, to be honest, about the logo and the branding. It's the game that I care about. I think FIFA is a stronger branding, and I think they're effectively fighting a losing battle. People will still call this game FIFA.
How long do you think it would take to get out of the kind of the pop
it's going
culture,
to be
I
years.
guess?
I reckon it's going to be over 5 years before people like routinely calling this EA Sports FC.
Yeah, it feels like
without them accidental slips to refer to it as FIFA.
Yeah, it's like, what do you refer to it as? Because we would say that. You'd go, I'm going around my friends, I'm going, do you want a game of FIFA? I'm just having a quick game of FIFA. It's just so short and to the point. EA Sports
That's
FC.
the worst thing about it.
Yeah, there's no vernacular that just tightens it up a little bit. Like, I'm going to play EA Sports, no, Sports FC.
I'm going to go play Pro Evo. Even like Pro Evolution Soccer was shortened to Pro Evo. We haven't got that shortening of this. And maybe it's just EAFC, but that doesn't really roll off the tongue that well.
Yeah, maybe we will. I'd say we call it FIFA, but then again, if you're a young child right now and you're like 5 years old and you play football, but you're not really that aware of what's going on. In another 5 years' time, when EA Sports FC 28 or something is out, you won't really relate to it as FIFA because you've never called that. You've never known anything other than EA Sports FC. So I'd be very curious to know what little Timmy, when he reaches 10-year-old, what he and his friends are referring to it as. Or FIFA still somehow is lingering around 5 years later.
The issue is, like, your big brother will still call it FIFA. So you'll call it FIFA and things like that.
Yeah, it's stuff like that why I think it's going to be at least like 5 years, probably even closer to 10 before this branding really takes hold properly.
You'd imagine EA's budget is insane for like getting this out there, though. Like just to really wipe the floor with any recognition of FIFA. And then, ironically, though, FIFA is still out there because it's the governing body that will be on all the billboards still. So you are going to
making a game.
Yeah, like the FIFA World Cup will still be a thing. Like that's not going away. It just means the game version isn't FIFA 23, 24, 25. It's an odd one, but in terms of the branding,
the more important thing is not necessarily the branding. Is this going to change the game?
I mean, the licensing, we've said it may do. We know they've already gone out and made these exclusive deals with like the Premier League clubs. I think in their actual article, they got quotes from their partners. So the Premier League, Liga, Bundesliga, Barclays Women's League, and a couple of others as well. So they've obviously negotiated well and truly, and the clubs make money from this anyway. They're not going to turn down FIFA money because it makes shit tons of it. 19,000 licensed players, 700 teams, 30 leagues. I don't think it's going to change the game at all. It just really, I think, will rock the boat when FIFA do finally partner. We think it's 2K because they make other sports games, but it's going to take them a few years to get a competitor out. We know Pro Evo shit the bed with going free with eFootball.
A lot of downloads, though.
A lot of downloads, but who's actually playing it? I don't think many people are. And it's interesting. I do like the new branding. I think it is clean. But like you said, Richie, it's at the end of the day, it's just a logo. The game itself, we're not going to see like a massive change of the sport drastically. Like as with usual FIFA entries, is 1 year is extra defensive, the next year it's more offensive, and they just flick the switch back and forth, so the game feels different year on year.
So they can sell you new trading
Absolutely.
cards instead of actually focusing on improving the career mode,
Yeah,
which is what people actually want.
This could have been the opportunity. Like again, how in our lifetime has a game brand ever fully rebranded to something different ever? Like something this big.
Oh, this big. I was going to say Pro Evo, but but Pro Evo really they kind of killed Pro Evo and chucked away the rulebook and started effectively a new game. So whatever it's called, eFootball is not Pro Evo really. It's a different game. Just happens to be made by the same publishers.
Should EA have bought the license name Pro Evo? Just
that would be really cool.
Just because, like you said, people used to say a game of FIFA or a game of Pro Evo. I'll give you a game of Pro Evo. Would it have been that much to go to? Is it Konami, right? And just say we'll give you like 100 mil for the license and for the title Pro Evo, and then the ironic twist of fate of like FIFA is now Pro Evo and Pro Evo is this, and then FIFA are going to come out with their game in a few years' time and.
I think Konami would try to rinse them, though. That's the problem.
But the thing is, like, I can imagine how much money has been spent on this redesign.
On this triangle.
Yeah.
No, I know from working in marketing, I know that there'll be a marketing guy who's like thought of this triangle idea and has iterated on it for like 6 months or something, and then went back to the graphic designer who's just like stressed out of his mind, and he's like, I can't make these words look good in a triangle, and the guy's like, no, it has to be in a triangle because that's the concept, and he's like, no, I can't, because the C will always look like a G if you put it at that angle, and then loads of people like Rob are going to confuse it with a new UFC game that was going to come out by EA.
No, theirs is a square. That's the logo for no, UFC is an octagon, right?
No, but it just looks like UFC.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Now you've said it, I can see the little dash there.
I got excited because I saw this logo. Like, cause obviously I'm not a FIFA
Oh yeah,
guy,
it does. Yeah, I can see it myself now.
FC.
Yeah.
But I saw this out of context, and I was like, oh great, next UFC game. Oh no, wait, it's EA Sports FC,
it's
not
FIFA.
EA Sports UFC.
Well, according to their blog, EA Sports FC will be a symbol for sport, a symbol for innovation and change, and we're energized to show fans more this July. So not too long before we get to see all the shapes woven into the world of football, from the first 8-bit experiences and the triangular polygons to every pixel that makes up modern games. Triangles. I immediately just thought of The Sims, if I'm honest. When I thought of the triangle above the head, I thought this has been done before by another. It's still kind of a glowy thing above the head, though. But yeah, it too.
You know what?
A diamond's just more triangles.
Before like seeing this announcement and reading all the wanky marketing shit, like
wanky marketing shit. Yes.
I couldn't have told you what the shape of the indicator above the player's head was. I know there's an indicator there.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what shape it was.
I did see the internet being the internet. Some articles, because the little kind of promo thing they did for this was a couple of flashes of all the games of yesteryear showing the triangles from like FIFA 98 all the way up to like this year's version. And the cover art for the article was a picture of like FIFA 98. People in the comments, game looks shit. Game looks old. Why is it so pixelated? It's like, because it's from 1998, you thick shits. That's why. Click the link, read the article, get your fact straight before you comment on how bad the game looks, because it's over 2 decades old what you're commenting on. It looks
That's
good by today.
Works,
Yeah, I know it's not.
FIFA 98 was FIFA 98 was a great game.
It was on
international foul button.
Oh, you could foul a ref. You could go and literally, if you foul someone, the ref would try and give you a red card, Rob. You could literally just run away and the ref would chase you around the pitch. Because like the game was just like, that's how it was wired. So if you didn't go near the ref, he couldn't do the card animation. So he would just chase you. He'd just chase you around. And when the goalkeeper had the ball in his hands, you could just slide tackle him. and then score a goal.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. It was so
You
funny.
could just stand right in front of the keeper. The keeper would just kick it off you and just bounce into the net.
So many memories.
And they had indoor football as well.
It had everything over the years, but now more triangles than you could ever imagine.
Controversial, I know. But
so just a quick one there on Ubisoft front. We are, of course, expecting a Ubisoft Forward as part of this summer's Game Fest, Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, which we do have confirmation as well as, I guess, the next story, that Summer Game Fest has returned, will return. Now E3's dead. You guys covered E3 being dead. Was it last week? That's just last week?
Yes, yeah.
Officially dead. Jeff Keighley just basically, you know the meme with Grant Gustin of The Flash where he's by the gravestone and just giving the two fingers up? That's definitely what Jeff Keighley's doing right now. E3 is on the tombstone.
He's flexing.
And Jeff Keighley's like, yeah, every partnership deal I've got, I'm going to promote and push. And I think he was retweeting like the death of E3 immediately after. Again, it's just a fake thing. Nobody died. It's just an event that happened every year. Don't panic. But Gamescom is still persevering ahead over in Cologne, Germany this year. And that will kick things off, confirmed this week with Jeff Keighley once again and his Gamescom opening night live, which will air on the 22nd of August. We'll see trailers, reveals, all sorts of stuff up on stage to kickstart the event in Germany. Gamescom doesn't come till August. We've got Summer Game Fest ahead of it. Jeff Keighley I know he helped create E3 back in the day, and then I feel like he got a bit shafted when they changed things and moved things around. Gamescom is probably the one that I would most likely be able to get to. I feel like if three of us ended up at an event, it would probably be Gamescom in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said when we were talking about E3, I think these sort of events, there's something to be said for moving the location every year to a different city. Like, I know in my industry, this is why I'm going on holiday to Montreal, New York, because I'm going to a conference. And it's just this year it's in Montreal, which is why I'm going. Where last year I was in London. And I think there's something to be said for that kind of thing, especially when it's this like very half consumer focused. So like it's not just in this city every single year. You can go to different places, which means that different people get to go and experience this kind of thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's something interesting to be said about moving it around. I follow a lot of podcasts who are based in like LA, San Francisco, like on the stateside. And Star Wars Celebration was this past weekend, and the coverage was so much lesser because it was hosted in London this year instead of the US. Because of the time zone, it was almost as though it didn't happen until the day after. I mean, time zone-wise, it technically didn't happen until the day after the fact, but it felt subdued. Like, the coverage of it felt subdued from all the channels that would usually rave and sing about it. It almost had like a weird time delay, like a literal time delay, but a weird time delay. But Jeff's back. He will be back with all sorts of coverage, covering the games industry over the next, pretty much the whole summer. It just belongs to him now. There's nothing in his way. We've got Ubisoft Forward confirmed. We've got his event up, Summer Games Fest, and Xbox Showcase. Switch, no doubt. We've got the rumored PlayStation Showcase as well. So it's going to be one hell of a summer because we are at this weird point where we're heading into May, and we've got nothing, right? Like, as far as we said, Ragnarok was the last PlayStation thing we needed that we were aware of. We've seen nothing of Spider-Man, nothing of Wolverine. We don't know anything.
Final Fantasy games this year.
Yeah, that's really it, isn't it? What they've shown, like they've shown a lot of Final Fantasy now, but we'll have to wait and see. Next story, we have to wait and see more about Vin Diesel and Ark 2 because it's been delayed. Survival has not evolved. In fact, it's been pushed back a little bit till 2024. Fear not, though, in the meantime, the developers have announced that they will be remastering the first game. So if you've not played Ark Survival Evolved yet, there will be a remastered version of that. And then on the flip side of that, we dip down the roller coaster ride again because that means the current online servers are going to be shut down later this year. So there is a high chance that the servers for the original game get shut down before the remastered version's out and before the sequel launches. So if you're playing Ark, I guess get in there now. It seems like an odd move, right? To not only delay your sequel, but also shut down the servers on your older game.
I think it's like a gigantic asshole move, to be honest. Like, as soon as like the next game comes out, or even like the remaster, it's like, okay, this like original game, which by the way came out as like an alpha, I think, and felt like an alpha. Like, now that game's getting shut down and all the servers are going along with it, so buy this new one, which
by the remaster,
we haven't really told you anything about either. It's like, a bit of a dick move, really.
All we know is the end of August.
Yeah.
That's the best they've given us at the moment for this remaster.
I get with some online games where when you get to this, like, you lose that critical mass of players where it makes sense to keep the servers going, shutting it down. But if you're shutting down the servers just to force people onto your next game, yeah, I agree, it's a bit of a dick move, and I'll be back because someone's at my door.
Well, they do sell the Ultimate Value Bundle, which is known as the Ark Respawned Bundle, which will include the Survival Ascended, which is the remaster, and Ark 2 when it releases. It's coming in at about $50, so it's not like top price, I guess, for a remaster and the sequel. But you need to obviously pre-order that ahead of time to get everything if you want to play it in August. Meanwhile, over on the PS5, Ark Survival Remaster is going to be $40. So again, yeah, this is a game that you've possibly bought before. They're shutting the servers down for it, but if you want to play it on your PS5, it's 40 quid.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I had such high hopes for the original Ark as well, because it's really like that type of game which I love, like the 7 Days to Die, Valheim type of vibe thing, and just really, really bad decisions from the developers has like put me and a lot of other people who are into that type of game off. And yeah, I've got nothing nice to say about these people now.
Yeah,
Performance when it dropped on Stadia kind of put me off.
Same.
That was terrible.
Yeah, the port was atrociously bad. So basically, if you want to keep playing it, you will be able to save your data, but you'll have to play it on non-official servers, which is a bit dodgy that you have to do that.
Which is essentially just going to be a bunch of like...
Yeah, it's one of those things where because you could have put... It came out, 2015? So you could have put years and years, because people who play these games like live in these games and like hone all of their resources and mechanics and everything. It's a bit harsh to just go restart on the remastered version because we're getting rid of the world you're currently in, or you could just go down the black market route and keep playing on dodgy servers. But who wants to do that?
Yeah, there is something to be said. If they open it up so that you could host your own servers, that would kind of soften the blow a bit. But it's very rare you see that sort of move.
So either way, it seems definitely an odd move. Maybe Vin Diesel will save them, maybe not. But we'll move on to our final stories of the week. And final pieces of news. We got a little bit of a funny one this week. PlayStation controller pain has been described for heat-changing haptic feedback. So Sony have registered and filed for a controller that gets hot and gets cold, which could maybe replicate when you're walking around lava worlds or when you're crawling in ice caves. Your hands will feel the burn and I guess feel the chill. I just wanted to drop that in there because is this just crazy, right? Like I'm just
getting used to the speaker and the controller at the moment. Jesus, like can't be getting no ice and heat.
So
I think for like a VR it could be an interesting concept.
Yeah, the description lists it as a magnetic fluid with haptic feedback, able to use material as gel with elasticated modules and hardness under heat to control the elastic modules or hardness to change the temperature with the above temperature control apparatus. Again, it's convoluted because it's just a patent, but it sounds like, get those squidgy med packs that you kind of crack and then the little bit of metal inside you bend around and it goes warm. It's like a hand warmer for all of like 10 minutes. My immediate thought of this is like you're going to burn someone or someone's going to get injured through some kind of like overheating or chilling it down, and then there's just lawsuits if it breaks or goes malfunctional. Phones setting on fire, that kind of jazz. I just
think this is something that I just don't actually even want in the DualSense. I don't think it's going to improve my experience of playing a game, and it will make the controller more expensive. However, in VR, when you go on that extra level immersion, imagine if, like, in a snow area and you picked up a snowball and your controller was cooler than it was. Or, like, if, like, there's, the fire and you touch a wall, you could feel a bit more heat from the controller. Stuff like that, I think, could be quite cool to have that next level of immersion. But for your standard controller,
Yeah, like, you want instant heat, which is... One, it's power consuming, so I would rather they focus on improving battery life on these things before looking at things that could potentially drain it more. Like, everyone knows if you turn a kettle on, hair straighteners, or a heater, that's like one of the most expensive forms of electric you can use because it's instant heat.
it feels like one of them patents. Like Sony have just chucked a load of stuff into the R&D.
Yeah.
And the R&D team goes, we might be able to do this, so there's just slapped the patent on it.
Yeah, there's
With
someone at
probably
this...
no realistic intent to actually put this in there like a mainstream controller.
Yeah, if you want to stay frosty, why not just go check out the world of God of War Ragnarok instead. Final story for the week. God of War Ragnarok New Game Plus mode has launched this past week, which comes with new armor, a higher level cap, and tons more cosmetics. As expected, this was always due to come. We had it in the original 2018 God of War. So if you've played through Ragnarok, or if you've enjoyed it, you can jump back in with all of your high level up skills and abilities and suits of armor, and play through the whole game again whilst keeping all of your perks. I'm not sure if there's any achievements attached to this or not, because I know sometimes they add in separate ones. Is this enough for you to go back, Richie?
No, it's too late for me. I want to go back into New Game Plus, because with New Game Plus, it's almost like because you're starting off a high level, and you kind of like, it's been so long since I've played. I'd rather start a new game with just a new game rather than a New Game Plus.
Yeah.
To just get get back into it.
That's fair.
So yeah.
And Rob, where are you on the whole God of War? Because you got your PS5, you had Horizon, you had God of War Ragnarok. How did you get through it all?
I still need to press New Game. Never mind New Game Plus on Ragnarok. Like, it's just I wanted to play through the original God of War again, but like the 2000 and whatever version.
18, yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't had chance. So Ragnarok is like still actually. I still have the little code thing on it, which
Did
I
you
should
just
probably
show
now
that to
show
camera?
on Yeah, that was probably a bad decision.
I don't know if it was clear enough, but if Richie timestamps it, I'll try and mask it out.
I'm gonna go claim it now on my PlayStation just to make sure.
Everyone in the chat's like, oh, they're giving away free copies of God of War on this week's show.
Yes.
Good. Maybe
Good
we'll
job it
promote it
wasn't
like
live.
that. Good thing it wasn't live. And that, though, brings us to our final last story, is Resident Evil 4 Remake. This one's for you, Rob. The mod community out there has added Thomas the Tank Engine, tramp stamps, and much, much more, because that's what the mod community do. They take a great game and make it even better by adding people like Shrek, Thomas the Tank Engine, and my word, these things look horrific.
This is worse than the Leon in Lingerie mod, which I've seen floating out there as well.
Of course. Speaking of mods, isn't it crazy that back in the day, like games like Tomb Raider used to have like naked Lara options? Like in hindsight, that's like again as a nerdy teenage kid, it was like awesome. But then
it was definitely problematic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did it actually exist, or was it just like a rumor or something?
No, there was definitely a code.
There was probably I remember there being like a cheat code that people would tell you to put in, but that actually made Lara explode and just killed you.
But that brings us to an end for this week's episode of Talking the PS, your weekly PlayStation show where we round up all the news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/Helix Plays Games. Don't forget to check out the rest of the channel, our live streams, our first looks, our Let's Plays, and much, much more. But you can only find that if you click like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you are kept in the loop. And if you want to chat a little bit more, why not join us in our Discord server? The link is in the description below, where you can join myself, Rob, and Richie, along with you, the wonderful community out there, while we talk games, parenting, and a bunch of other stuff as well. Later on the channel, we also have Luna Listening, our brand new Amazon Luna show, coming soon. Follow us on all social media, and if you do want to support us that little bit further, you can click join below. From as little as 99p, you get this show early, stickers, badges next to your name, and watch Richie take on Maggie in Elden Ring. That's been it for this week's show. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
And I've been Rob.
And we've been Talking the PS. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and play whatever makes you the happiest. Goodbye.